So how can we become an effective community leader? And I would love to share with you two approaches. One, looking at it from the vantage point, and two, look at it from what's the prerequisite of engagement. So if we look at the vantage points, and you can see this model looking like a topographic map, which was developed by the M.G. Taylor. And I love that it's looking like a topographic map, especially that we are talking and we are in the context of nature. And you can see it going from a core to the sides and going from philosophy to the facts. So why this approach is important? This approach can be adapted to different circumstances. You can look at the strategy of a company, or you are looking to build a community or build a project or an event. And it helps us to move from one approach to another. And it's important also that all the people are talking in the same level. Because if you are talking at the level of philosophy, for example, and someone is talking about the level of tasks, you will never agree because you are in different levels. So it's important also that you are moving from one level to another with all the people who are around you. So when we look at the vantage points, you look from the core at the philosophy, and that's where you should start. Why you are the leader of this community, or why you are trying to become the leader of this community, why this community exists. And you need to solve this equation of the philosophy of what you are trying to do in order to move forward. After the philosophy, you'll move to the culture. Who are the people around you? Who is this community for? Who are the people who will be helping and supporting you? 3, the policy. How are we developing processes to sustain this community? 4, strategy. What are we trying to do? And how can we have a strategy to help us achieve what we're trying to do? Philosophy, why? So you cannot have the what before the why. And then you look at the tactical. How are we trying to solve this or build this community, or you being the community leader? Then the tasks. Then you jump to the tasks. What actions do you need to do? So if we look at the vantage points, it's a model that is really can help in helping you becoming an effective leader. Why you want to become an effective leader, or you want to become a community leader? 2, what policies or what culture do we need to have within this community in order to advance? Then what are the rules, processes? What is our strategy before going down to the task level? So it's an important model that I love, and I think it can help us in answering this question, but also help us in different ways. The second approach is what's the prerequisite of engagement? For me, it's one word: trust. Which means no fear. If you are an effective community leader, people around you should not fear you. They should admire you because you are inspiring them, you are motivating them. So how can we build trust? And a close look into what are the underminers of trust makes it rather easier to build trust. So let's look at what destroys trust. 1, lack of integrity. I think you will not admire, or you will not love to work with someone who lacks integrity. 2, unfair treatment. How can you be a leader for everyone, not only for some people? So unfair treatment can be seen, can be felt by everyone, and even if you think that it's not the case. 3, lying. I think people know when BS is in the air, so please, no lying. 4, lack of authenticity. Are you bringing your genuine you into this action? Are you vulnerable with your team, with your people? So lack of authenticity doesn't build trust. The other aspect, we mentioned it when we talked about servant leadership, is that a servant leader shares roles and responsibilities. So how can you not have the command and control approach with your team, with your community? How can you listen? And we mentioned that also as a principle of servant leadership. Not listening will not help you build trust with your community or with your team. Absence of protection. Will you take a bullet for your team? Will you take a bullet for your community? Are you protecting them? That's how you can build trust, by people knowing that they got you and that you have their backs. The other aspect is lack of decision making. And it's important here to balance between not taking a decision and leaving space to people to grow, to bring the responsible themselves to the equation, and taking a decision when it's the right moment. So you need to balance this aspect so that you can help build this trust. And the last aspect is withdrawal. If you are withdrawing, then people will not respect you. They will not trust you. And by withdrawing, when there is a problem, you're not there to support your team or your community. You're not there to take the decision. And that's very important so that we can build trust, because it's an important prerequisite of engagement if you want to be an effective community leader.